It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 5th day of August 2021, coming to you from Central Virginia, Bedford County, right outside of Lynchburg. And this, of course, is a tape broadcast as opposed to my usual live broadcast because as you're watching this, I'm at a doctor's appointment. So that's what's going on with me. A couple announcements before we get to a couple stories this morning. There'll be no live show again on Monday, another doctor's appointment. So I'll tape the show as I'm doing today. It will come online at 11 a.m. as the normal time. A couple things ahead. Saturday's guest will be Brandon Smith, the weekend cruiser. We're going to talk about short cruises, something a lot of my folks that watch me don't do. We're mostly like me. There's been longer cruises. But we're going to talk about the weekend cruise. And also Melissa McCormick Davis is going to be our guest on Sunday on the Cruise Amigos live from London. She'll be joining us from aboard Boy and Verge's Scarlet Lady, as it finally is going to have a paying guest, finally. So quickly on the weather today, oddly, there's a little something in the Atlantic that we haven't talked about hardly at all this year so far. There's actually two systems. The one closest to South America there you see toward the center of that picture. There's a low pressure system, probably not going to do anything, probably not going to develop, just making mention of it. However, you're kind of going to have to watch the one that's right over on the coast of Africa, as they're talking about 50% chance of that developing over the next 5 days. Of course, it's way too early to tell how much it's going to develop and what direction it's going to go in, but that one's worth watching. Meantime, out in the Pacific, we've got the two storms, actually, both are now named. Hilda is still a tropical storm and is forecast to become a remnant low by Friday. Currently, it's about 1,255 miles west of the southern tip of Baja. Sustained winds 40 miles an hour. It's moving to west-northwest at 9 miles an hour. The pressure is 1,005. No chance of it encountering land, so it's just going to fade away. Now, the furthest one on out there is Tropical Storm Jemina, and that was Depression 9E we had for several days. But Jemina is now 1,810 miles west-southwest of the southern tip of Baja, 40 miles an hour winds, moving about 7 miles an hour to the west-northwest. Central pressure is 1,005. Little change in strength is forecast during the next 24 hours. After that time, Jemina is expected to weaken as it moves over cooler waters. And again, next to no chance of interaction with land. So that takes care of the weather for today. Yesterday, the Carnival Mardi Gras landed at Amber Cove in the Dominican Republic. Obviously, one of my favorite stops. I love Dominican Republic, but I especially love Amber Cove. This, of course, is the dancers, and they do a traditional scene as you get off the boat there, which is interesting. It's fun, but I like Amber Cove. I go back to Amber Cove in a heartbeat. But while this was going on and people were getting off the boat, on the Mardi Gras, the Carnival Ambassador John Heald made an announcement that just set the world on fire as far as social media goes. So I figured let's just bring you straight from the horse's mouth. Here's John.
For you, but I have some very important news that I wanted to share with you, and I wanted you to please make sure that you share this video with somebody as well, because it is so important. Now, as we've been talking for so long, this is such a fluid world that we live in. It's an ever-changing situation, and things, of course, are always going to be like the roller coaster here on the ship, up and down, and things happening. Now, the good news, or the great news, the brilliant news is that cruising is back, and thousands of people have already had a great time and are currently having a great time here on this ship and on Carnival Horizon, Carnival Breeze, Carnival Miracle, and of course Carnival Vista, and we'll soon be having it on other ships that are coming out later this month. But in line with other major corporations such as Disney and McDonald's and Las Vegas and all the other places, we have to be careful and we have to get this right, and we will continue to make whatever changes we need to in order for the fun to continue. So I have two very important things to tell you. With effective from August 7th, that's all of our sailings on all of our ships for August 7th, we are going to have a new mask wearing policy. We are going to strongly encourage all of our guests to wear face masks, particularly when indoors. And we're going to give you all the guidelines about that, of course. Now, all guests aged 2 and older will be required to wear a face mask in places like elevators, in designated indoor entertainment areas, such as if you're shopping in some of the shops on board, if you're in the casino, and in other public areas. For example, when you're walking into the dining room, if you're standing in line to get in Cucina or into the comedy club, basically any area where lots of people are gathered, and when you're not eating or drinking, we are going to require you to wear a face mask. And this is for all guests, not just those who are unvaccinated, but for all guests. We are going to be requiring you to wear a face mask. Again, those specific details that I mentioned, like when you're walking into the dining room before you start eating. Of course, if you're outdoors in the sun or using the slides and all that kind of stuff, of course not. But these are things that we have to do, and that other areas of high entertainment like Vegas and restaurants and other things, we really have to be. This is a time to be careful. It's a time to be cautious. Now, also, we are going to start something else on cruises from August the 14th, and that is for all guests fully vaccinated. You are going to need to have a test, a COVID test, before you cruise, and you're going to need a negative antigen test taken within 3 days of your cruise, and you'll need to show proof of this. Now, the person who's clicking on the angry face, cheerio. Everyone else, I know that this is something that possibly is going to be a little displeasing. Of course it is. And apart from Mr. Angry Face, who wouldn't care if we said no mask or if you had to wear a funny hat, that person doesn't cruise. I know who it is, and it's just a waste of time. What you're all thinking, of course, is, why are we doing this? Well, we're doing it very simply because we have to keep cruising going, and this is what we have to do. And we're going to ask for your understanding. We are going to ask for you to protect yourselves and protect other people. And on those occasions where you're with large groups of people, just slip your mask on. Once you get into the dining room and you're seated at your table and you're eating and drinking, whether it's on Lido deck or whether you're having a drink in one of the bars, then of course, yes, you take the mask off. But when there are lots of people gathered around you, as other large entertainment complexes like Las Vegas, like Disney, like all the others, we have to do this. And it is not forever. It is not forever. This is just now so that we can keep cruising going, so we can keep the fun going, and we can keep all of you being able to have the best vacation choice in the world. So we will send this note out to each and every one of you who have a cruise booked in the next few months. And obviously, if anything changes again, I'll come back and let you.
And of course, that's John Heald, the Carnival Ambassador. The announcement was made yesterday on board the Carnival Mardi Gras while she was in dock at Amber Cove. And it started just a rash of social media comments and comments on numerous Facebook groups, and people just up in arms and complaining. And quite frankly, folks, I think Lalita Loca put it best last week on one of his shows when he said, the cruise world right now is a very fluid situation. And if you can't stand the ups and downs and changes at a drop of a hat pin, don't cruise right now. And I completely agree with that. Do we like it? No, of course not. I wouldn't be happy about it either, but I understand why. And I have to say that I think the overall impetus that they're trying to make is that they want to keep the people safe. They want to keep cruising going. And a major malfunction on one of these cruises, it's on such thin ice right now that it could kill the entire industry. So the other thing I look at is a number of the cruises that have been successfully operating in Europe a lot longer than they have here in the States. This is very similar to procedures that they're going through over there, and they're being able to do it successfully. So do I like it? Of course not. I hate wearing the mask, although I'm getting back in the habit of it again. After almost 2 months that I didn't have to use the mask around here, but now with the variant where it is, I'm back to using the mask. So, until we're out of this pandemic totally, and we're a long way from that, we're going to have to put up with it. And like I say, folks, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. So if you want to cruise, you got to do it their way. I mean, I've said all along, if you want to cruise, get vaccinated. Even if they specifically aren't supposed to require that from the state of Florida, get vaccinated, because that's what they want and that's what you need to do. And don't, try to get on a cruise ship and say, I'm not going to mask up. They'll kick you off. Guaranteed. All right. That's going to wrap me up for today, folks. Again, sorry about the fact that this was taped, as will Monday's broadcast. I will see everybody back here at the same time, same channel tomorrow. As always, appreciate the thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing, hitting that bell notification to keep up with everything we do here. Travel and Cruise Industry News at 11 a.m., 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. The Cruise Amigos on Sunday. And, of course, videos and live streams as needed, depending on what's happening in the travel and cruise industry world. So that's it for today. This is the Old Fat Travel Guy. I'll see everybody tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Y'all have a great day. I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, chilly chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.